Germany, the first 2 games of this tournament looked so good, guys. Honestly, they looked unbelievable. They looked unreal. Scintillating. That front 4 of Havertz, Gundogan, Musiala, Wirtz, the off-the-ball movement, the telepathy that all 4 of them had together, the goals that they were scoring, they absolutely ripped apart Scotland, made light work of Hungary. The Switzerland game was early indicators that maybe something wasn't 100% right. And today, I have to say, you have to give them massive credit for getting the win, because at this point in the knockouts, it's a results business. It's a results business. There's no more time to experiment. There's no more time to kind of like figure out what your best lineup is. Now it's win or go home. Lose concentration for a second and you're out of there. So you have to give them massive credit for winning today. But I have to be honest with you, man. I'm not as like confident in Germany or convinced by Germany as I was after 2 games. That's not to say I think, oh, they're frauds. Germany aren't going to do anything at this tournament, but I'm a whole lot less convinced by them than I was after 2 games. And I think the biggest reason for that is, look, Germany played excellent football. Like possibly after Spain, maybe the second best in terms of like the way they control games, the way they pass, the way they win the ball back. But my biggest issue of Germany right now is something that I don't think I've ever really felt about a German team, because it's very like rare to say this about Germans, but I'm just kind of looking for that efficiency in front of goal. I'm kind of just looking for like that killer instinct in front of goal. And it's never something I ever thought I'd say about a Germany team, because typically the Germans, if you think about them in previous campaigns, especially before 2010, they used to kind of just be known as like efficiency monsters. They don't play particularly like beautiful football, but they're effective, they're efficient, they're functional, and when they need to win, they win games. The famous quote, I think it's by Gary Lineker, is football is a very simple game, right? 2 teams of 11 basically play for 90 minutes, and at the end of the game, the Germans win. That's just the way they do it. And you look at the gunmen that they've had up front in the past: Klinsmann, Oliver Bierhoff, Miroslav Klose, Thomas Muller, Mario Gomez even, right? Just like guys up front that they just have a nose for goal. And to be fair, in this team, there is one guy that I really attribute to that as well too, and that's Niklas Füllkrug. But obviously, he's kind of being used as a plan B. And I don't really hate that, to be honest, because if he does start, and then you're looking at the bench for a guy who can come on and score you a goal, your options aren't great. So I actually don't mind Füllkrug kind of coming off the bench. But that's something I'm looking at this German team right now, and I'm thinking, you guys play really nice football, right? It's very cute on the edge of the box. You have nice combinations. You have players with really quick feet in the likes of Musiala, in the likes of Florian Wirtz, Gundogan, Kroos, Kimmich. Neat players. They're a neat team. But I am just kind of cautious about Germany, and I'm thinking now, if they don't score that first goal, like if they're playing a France or a Spain and the other team scores the first goal, and now all of a sudden Germany are kind of like chasing a game, I do worry about them a little bit. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that is kind of concerning me at the moment. Denmark aren't a great team. They didn't win a single game this Euros. They're going home with 0 wins after 4 games. They're not a bad team, but they're not a great team. Denmark could have very easily gotten something from this game today. And I think they're very unfortunate that, Joachim Andersen, Thomas Delaney. I think they're very fortunate that Thomas Delaney is literally like a toe offside. Because if not, Joachim Andersen scores a great goal. Denmark are up 1-0. And to be honest with you, it's not that they were exemplary, but like it would have been a case of like, look, Germany have played solid. They've created chances off set pieces, which so far this tournament, they've proven to be quite dangerous at. But in open play, they don't really have much to show for their dominance. And Denmark, it wouldn't have been the most undeserved lead at the end of the day. And they go up the other end immediately, 2 minutes later, and Joachim Andersen just has like the worst 2 minutes of his life. The worst 120 seconds of his life. Because, again, he's penalized for a handball that, look, it's handball. At the end of the day, his arm's in an unnatural position. It's a penalty. I get it. But it's also very, very difficult in that kind of scenario for a defender. It's like a natural reaction. You know what I mean? So it's a penalty by the letter of the law, but it is a bit, I don't know, man. I feel bad for him in that situation. I don't know if the punishment for having your hand in that position should be, now Germany gets to shoot from 12 yards. And from there, right, Germany had a lot of chances post that. Like, I'm sure the XG today, Germany walked over Denmark. I'm sure. But a lot of those chances came once they got that first and once they got that second, because Denmark were then pushing everyone forward. Wirtz came on with 10 minutes left to go, and he must have created 3 chances off his own, because all of a sudden Denmark pushed the line forward, and they don't have fast defenders going the other way. Andersen, Vestergaard, they're running in quicksand going the other way. Schmeichel doesn't come off his line quick enough. Musiala makes it 2-0. They could have scored 3, 4, 5 after that. But to get that first goal, it wasn't the prettiest, and that's my worry about Germany right now. If they don't score that first goal, if the other team scores before them, I do wonder how they're going to win games at this tournament. That's my only concern. I hope I'm not being too harsh here, but I could see it being a problem against the likes of Spain, France, Portugal. And let's be real, those are teams they're going to have to play. They're on that side of the bracket. So Germany got it done. Congratulations to them. They'll play the winner of Spain versus Georgia, which I would anticipate is Spain, but I'm kind of holding back now. Spain is going to be a very interesting test. I'm very curious to watch that game because Spain at the moment, for me, I've said it numerous times, I think they're playing the best football at this tournament, but everything I've just said about Germany, you could maybe even say the case for Spain. They play amazing football, but are they the most surefire in front of goal? It'll be a very interesting game. I want to talk on a few players in this game. First of all, Kai Havertz. Maybe controversially, I actually like this performance. I actually did. Now, was it a perfect performance? No, because he's a center forward. And at the end of the day, center forwards are judged by their ability to put the ball in the back of the net. And he scored. It was a penalty, but he could have walked away with a hat-trick today. But I think that's just kind of who Kai Havertz is. I feel like at this point in his career, he's what, 24, 25 now? Havertz is 25 years old, right? At this point in his career, I think we just have to kind of understand that this is what Kai Havertz is. His movement, to be fair, I don't want to steal Ange's flow here, but I think Ange had a really good analysis of him at halftime. I think, just like Ange said, the big confusion around Kai Havertz is the fact that no one really knows what he is. Is he a 10? Is he a 9? Is he a 9.5? Is he a midfielder? For me, he's someone who leads the line. I don't think you play him in those midfield positions. And I actually think Arsenal wasted half a season playing in midfield for Arsenal. I think everyone wasted their time for that half a season. But I do think playing up front, he does offer you a lot. He is an intelligent player. His movement, running in behind, occupying defenders, making those runs into the box, whether it comes to him or whether it opens space up for other people, I do think he does that really well. And some people might say, oh, that's the bare minimum, but I don't think every center forward plays like that. I don't think every center forward offers the off-the-ball movement that Kai Havertz does. I think he holds it up quite well. Physically, I was telling Sharky this at the beginning of the season because he didn't believe me when I said it. Kai Havertz is huge. The guy's 6'4". He's the tallest player on the Arsenal team. He might not seem like it because of his style of play isn't like to bully defenders, but he's a big guy. And when he wants to, he can hold up the ball quite well for the team. So I do think you play with Kai Havertz, your team improves. I think you're a better team with Kai Havertz up front than with Nicholas Füllkrug. Because I do think he just makes the attack, click a bit more. But at the end of the day, he's always going to be judged by his goals. And I'm sorry, this is why I always found the Robin Van Persie comparisons, which, let's be real, I know people are going to say, oh, it's just Twitter, but those originated off people like Thierry Henry and Thomas Tuchel creating those comparisons in the first place. I always found those comparisons ludicrous. Ludicrous. First of all, before anything, Kai Havertz is not a good finisher. He's not a good ball striker. Compared to Robin Van Persie, it's alarmingly bad. But just in general, he's not a great ball striker. He scuffs shots a lot. Cam was making the point earlier that it always seems like Kai Havertz's finishes just narrowly creep past the post. And that's because he doesn't strike the ball cleanly. If you were to zoom in and slow motion at the moment Kai Havertz is about to strike the ball, it's like it hits almost like the back of his foot, rather than directly into his soul. So he doesn't strike the ball exceptionally clean. And I do feel like he is gangly, guys. I've learned recently that Kai Havertz had a massive growth spurt basically while he was at Leverkusen. The way he's playing now is very different to the way he played when he first broke onto the scene. And I do feel like at times he is adjusting to how tall he is now. So he is gangly. He is at times uncomfortable. He isn't as fluid as a Van Persie was. So yeah, for me, I like Kai Havertz as a player. I'm not going to say he's my favorite player in the world, but I actually like him. But those comparisons for me were always so wide off the mark. I actually think the Berbatov comparisons, I'm not saying I agree with those completely either, but they make way more sense to me than Robin Van Persie. Those Robin Van Persie comparisons to this day just bamboozle me. They bamboozle me. And I know people are going to say, oh, you didn't see Van Persie before 2011. First of all, I did. I was a massive fan of Van Persie. And if anything, I always felt it was almost like the finishing touch with him. He still had really, really good feet. And boy, could he strike a ball, even at a young age. So those were always kind of wide off the mark for me. But Havertz, I like this performance, right? I just think he makes Germany a better team when he's playing up front. Will he score as much as Füllkrug? No. But I do feel like Füllkrug, that weapon kind of bringing off the bench, I think that suits Germany at this point. I do think it suits them. I think if you start Füllkrug and bench Kai Havertz and then bring Kai Havertz onto the pitch, the dynamic and the way your team plays and the way your team would then chase a lead, I don't like it as much as the way they're playing right now.